behind the scene. So we are having a panel discussion, Dr. Nita. It's almost like Asianet and news and some of the news TV channel. Okay, so Times Now and India Today, so all those kind of things. So we keep doing this, and we need 50 plus numbers every time we register that number. And today's topic is excellent topic, so we should have some good number. So please let us, yeah, so you have already let them in. So we are going to start with the concurrence of the faculty first, Dr. Shankar, and the concurrence of my colleagues over here, Dr. Neeta, Dr. Duval, Dr. Pradesh, Dr. Rajesh. So all of you are here. Thank you very much for spending your time. Really, we appreciate, because your presence is going to cheer up the crowd, motivate the crowd, and most importantly, it is also, you can bring your insights into it all the time to make it much more, interactive. So that's the thing. So welcome, guys. Welcome to another session of the workshop. I could see quite a few students. I could see Fizo, Ravi, Vinit, everybody is here. Welcome here. And today we have a very contemporary and yet controversial, I will use that word again, what Dr. Shankar has just given me that. So it's a hugely important topic for all of us, being a researcher, being in academic or in non-academic, everywhere you can see the application of AI. And increasingly it is being applied in the research, whether you are writing interim research project in our, the DBA module, or you are writing final thesis, or you are even writing assignments. You are using AI in one form or other. So this is how it's going to help you. So without doing much ado, we are blessed with the galaxy of our faculty over here. So who will also bring some insights as and when it is required. So without doing much ado, I just hand it over to Dr. Shankar for taking it over. Thank you, Dr. Shankar.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Abhijit. So with your permission, we'll start, and I'll just share my screen. So it's visible, I hope.
Yeah. Visible.
Okay. So as introduced by Dr. Abhijit, we just heard that, AI in any format, and especially because we are in research, we'd like to spend some time on what's ethical and not ethical. So it's a very contemporary topic and controversial very much, because the ethics part of it keeps changing. It's subjective, and what we'll take up what is acceptable to us at Westward first, and then, because tomorrow it may be different. The world is changing around us, and it's already that lot of regulations, a lot of government, a lot of other bodies are considering the inclusion of AI in whatever formats. So we'll just take a look at what is currently required to be done and what is acceptable for Westward standards, especially in the research, if reference to the DBA and the MBA programs. Okay, so with that, we take off. So if I may, what is ethics for in some format may not be appealing, or is subjective. Ethics is something very subjective, because what happens is it's like behavior. Someone calls it good behavior, but in a particular context, it may not be so. For someone else, it may be totally rude, depending on the culture. So in that case, looking at ethics is something very subjective, which we need to understand, and it keeps changing with the context and with the times. Okay. So introducing, all of us are using AI in one form or the other. It's not very recent. AI has been there for almost 20 years in different formats. Okay, and only commercially, probably because with the introduction of the chat box, or the chat GPT as we call it, that's about 2 or 3 years, but it's been around in most of the fields for quite some time. So when you look at AI, that is artificial intelligence, so we can call it as in three contexts we can discuss it. We call it as narrow AI, general AI, and super intelligent AI. Okay, so we take a look at what it means. So uh, AI refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines programmed to think and learn like humans. Okay, so these machines can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as recognizing the patterns, making decisions, solving problems, understanding natural language, etc. So brief history, like how it has grown over time. So we'll take a look at it. So you see that it's, as I said, it's quite a old concept. Only recently we are looking at it the way it is to be looked at, because it's grown in importance in the various sectors and more so in research. So all started in 1950s. Then you see how 1956 it has graduated into the AI as recognized in the field of research. And the 60s and 70s, the early AI research focused on symbolic reasoning and problem solving. Systems like ELISA, the early chat box was used, demonstrated basic natural language processing. So we have not been exposed to this, but it's all started in 60s, 70s, 80s, and 2000. Now we have got looking at the advanced stages of AI. It is used in various sectors, various fields, and especially clinical. Then you have even medicine, healthcare, so on. Okay. So narrow AI is a weak AI, as we say. So focus on performing a specific task or set of tasks efficiently. Examples include the chat box or the assistants. We have Siri, Alexa, recommendation systems, and a facial recognition software. So biometrics, which we use in our companies for logging in, etc. So narrow AI excels in a single domain, but lacks the flexibility to perform tasks outside its designated area. So it's meant for a particular domain or a particular job task, and it's restricted to that. So it's not a what do you ever expanding process. So general AI refers to machines that process human-like intelligence capable of understanding, learning, and applying knowledge across a broad range of tasks. So general AI can think, reason, and solve problems at the level of cognitive flexibility similar to a human being. So general AI is still theoretical, but has not been uh, expanding it. Okay. So super intelligence AI, which is used in robotics and these kind of other expanding fields, refers to AI systems that surpass human intelligence in all aspects, including creativity, problem solving, and decision making. And this is proven by what do you call empirical ways and tested and now commercialized. So super intelligence remains a speculative concept and raises significant ethical and philosophical concerns about the future of AI and its potential impact on humanity. So this super intelligence stage is the testing part for us. So we are not sure. No one is sure that how to let technology surpass you, because man is still insecure about a lot of things, and more so not knowing how technology can take over. And we don't want machines running our world. So that's one of the basic concerns, and more so in specific areas like research. So we still would like to be a dominating force or human controlled rather than machine controlled. So AI is growing a role in research, and it's keeping on adding various dimensions, as you can see. So you had the initial chat box, the chat GPT. Now it's improvised. It's already, you have various versions of it, and it's used across research. You have various softwares which are AI driven. We'll discuss some of them, and probably we'll also say what are the do's and the don'ts as per research standards. So we can see the power of AI is like you have in research conception. It can be used in academic publishing, academic writing, editing, and proofreading. So meta-analysis, summarization, literature review, journal finder, journal style formatting, journal peer review, ethical compliance checker. Then you have the technical compliance checker, reference management, paraphrasing, data interpretation, language translation. Then you can use it for vocabulary enhancer, grammar checker, spell checker, consistency checker, citation checker. So this you see most of the AIs are using that. You have uh, AI-driven tools like today you have is Grammarly, for example, or you have Gilbox or Gilbot. So many of these research-based, and we'll be talking more of the others also. So generally, what's the benefits before we go into the don'ts? So using AI is increased efficiency and productivity, improved accuracy and precision, enhanced data and analysis capabilities, discovery of new insights and patterns is what can be used and pretty efficient in research. It can be used in these type of capabilities it has, okay, and still not considered unethical. We can see insights, patterns, we can use it for data analysis and also check what more you can do to improve accuracy and precision, increased efficiency and productivity. So these are the benefits. So ethical considerations, we come down to the considerations as on today. So from a Westward point of view, ethical framework, introduction to ethical frameworks, that is deontology, then utilization or virtue ethics, the importance of ethical consideration in AI research, bias and fairness, understanding bias in AI algorithms, strategies to mitigate bias and ensure fairness in AI research. So what it basically means is AI can be biased in the way because it depends on how it's been written and what's its used for learning initially, and it keeps growing. I mean, it learns on its own by using neural network, but still it's a long way to go, and probably there's a lot of bias and fairness. For example, if let's say you have a topic and the same topic is fed by 3 or 4 students, you'll see it all talks about in a particular way, and it'll be much similar. It will not be very different. So it can't actually throw out many more aspects. So that's a minor difference in terms of creativity between AI and natural intelligence, because we are capable of producing slight difference, or we can look at dimensions which probably the machine is not able to do because it's not been learned, or it's not learned in that aspect yet. So it can be bias and fairness. So it needs to be checked every now and then and evaluated whether there's any bias or fairness in the way it's treating it. So strategies to mitigate the bias and ensure fairness in AI research. It's naturally done. Most of these the softwares have what you call the machine learning inbuilt into it. So the machine learns and then it looks at various options, and you can, so the next time you go, it's slightly superior. So the more it's used and the more data it is getting, it will keep better and better because it learns to be more creative. So privacy and data security is another concern, because the softwares, it has a depository and it is kept with the various sponsors of those, the various companies. So we really don't know what the data is going to be used. So protecting sensitive data in AI research, data privacy regulations and best practices required, because it's very important for us. Like, let's say there is a disease and the clinical analysis has been done, and that data is very crucial because for the development of vaccine or the medicine, and that gets stolen or it's misused, it can mean life and death and huge money. So which we already know what happened during the COVID. So it's not as critical for us like our research, not up till now, but still it pains if you have a paper written and it's a good paper and it gets stolen and suddenly you see someone else is publishing it, not involving your name and without your consent. So that's happens quite a bit to a lot of people. So that is again a data breach. So we have seen instances of that, and it's been reported. That's why you see a lot of these uh, major what do you call journals like Willy and Elviser, they keep retracting those. The thousands of papers which have got retracted because of faulty analysis for one. Second thing is uh, stolen data, and also the way it's been written, because now they are realizing that it's a fraudulent kind of we call it as a machine generated thesis. So which is it's not logical to get a end. So every time you see that this keeps happening and then it's retracted. So that is there's another thing is the thesis has been developed in such a way that it can't be duplicated. If someone else is following the same steps, you see that they're not coming with the same outcome. So it is not logical and it's not very clear. And that is one of the reasons why the machine itself is not in a position to learn. That's why the AI in research is quite slow, because of the fraudulent practices of the earlier uh, researchers to some extent. I would blame them for that. So they were not practicing ethics, and obviously that has come to a stage where the machine is not sure, or the algorithm writers are not sure whether to use it. But we don't have a choice, so it learns on its own. But then the outcome is that if it's going to use that kind of data, it's going to also give you false data. So we have to be very careful in looking at what is the outcome, what it says, because in most of the software you'll see the bottom they said that this is a generative AI and we are not taking responsibility for the outcomes. Okay, it says very clearly. Why? Because it's learning from data which may or may not be true. So that's the main reason. So that means the data which has got used earlier is not exactly genuine. Okay. So these are the ethical issues which are already there. There's a flaw in the system, so we should be aware of it, and that's why we should be extra careful in quoting, citing, and using this kind of uh, what do you call information in whatever format you are using it in your research. So accountability and transparency is another thing. So establishing accountability for AI systems, which most of these software they talk, but what is the back apps is not revealed. So it's more almost like operating like a dark web. So if you're not sure of the transparency and the accountability, and which is not stated, so obviously it's not ethical as on today. So we don't know tomorrow what will happen because it's subjective. But because of these fraudulent things, there are not many regulations there, because we are not capable of the regulations, because we don't know what are the what we call ethical is really ethical or not, or tomorrow it may change. Because you remember there is a classical case of online learning and on-site learning. Okay, till the COVID, everyone was used to say online learning is bad and you can't really learn this, that. And then now everyone is doing, even the topmost universities, you have Harvard or Stanford, everyone is online. So they are doing blended online. So that means there is acceptability that online is equivalent to a face-to-face. Okay, and whatever terms, because you see that it saves time. It has its plus points, it has got its negative points. So we give the choice, at least the choice is available for the students to learn whichever manner they are. So here also you have the choice of using the AI tools in the way you want to do, but what is acceptable, you need to be aware as on today, so that you don't get blacklisted. Okay, so ensuring transparency in AI research and decision making is also, it gives to some extent, but the back offs is not very transparent. So we're not sure what is the steps it is taken. Okay, irrespective of what it says on your chat box. So limitations and the challenges of AI. So overfitting and underfitting can happen. You think that, okay, this is saying something and I'm going to use it in a particular way. So maybe you are overstating it, or you're using the information which is not actually genuine, or it is really genuine and it's a creative work, and may not, you're not using it the way it should be done. So you're underfitting it. So this can have, then you can have the black box problem, which I said in terms of transparency, it's the back office is not sure. So for what are the steps it is done and what has been done. Okay, so this is a genuine problem, because the back office in most of the data generated, and this thing is it's not shown. Most of the times we say that well, it's confidential data cannot be shared, and these kind of things is what the researchers keep saying. So that's why they try to hide behind a screen. So that's why the black box problem still sustains or still stays. So interpretability of the AI models is, again, as I said, it is generative. So we're not pretty sure of how the fit is, it's overfit or underfit, or how the model works. So you have to use your own understanding and evaluation of the model to see how it works and how it fits your context. For example, let's say you're doing on a stock market and you like to include a lot of factors into it, but there are maybe many more factors which you can't actually extrapolate or interpolate on your daily basis. Like there can be a war situation. So that's something emergency kind of situation which cannot be inbuilt into a algorithm. So these kind of situations is also limiting the role of AI to some extent. So unless you understand that these are the external factors which can lead to a lot of differences in the outcomes, so your understanding is far more important. So the role of humans in AI research is very, very required till now, and also to some extent to uh, in a lot of sectors. But I don't know, there are a lot of people who are very confident that the next maybe 30 years afterwards, there will be a situation where human beings are needed to do nothing. So you'll be wondering that society will be having a problem of what you need to do when you've got nothing to do. Okay, so that can, because machines will do everything for you, and you don't have to work, because technology is giving out, like you can have uh, a small capsule which can take care of all your energy needs for the day. You can have cloth or fabric which is reusable. It can be just you have like a washing machine, you just input it here. It can virtually change the design pattern, everything, and iron it up, freshened, and it's on the outside. So it can be done on a daily basis. So the same cloth, you have 4 or 5 cloth. So that's limited. So you don't have to keep visiting Emax and Tesco and all these outlets for getting cloth at least. So energy is down, then the food needs are down, clothing is done, housing is going to be 3D. So you do 3D printing for your housing. So this is the way the technology is going, and it's all inbuilt around the AI. So it's very important. But the only thing we need to know how we are going to go about it, because if that's why I said, if as on today, it will be a wonder if everything is given to you free, and everything, nothing you need to, you got no work. So it will be a fiasco, because most of us really don't know what to do when you have got nothing to do. So just think about those lines. It is, we had a big argument on that. Yeah, it's impossible to stay 10 minutes for human today without doing anything. We need to keep doing or engaging in something. We require activity. But how many of us can do that on a long-term basis, not have anything to do? So the importance of human judgment and oversight is required. So that's the intervention of human beings at this stage, and maybe till the time we reach that stage where it's going to happen. The job displacement and economic impacts are already showing up, but then it generates more jobs in a different manner. So only thing you need to skill in that, get skilled more into how to use the AI and those tools, instead of complaining that AI is overtaken us or machine has overtaken us. So how to uh, take care of those machines and how to use them in the various applications is what you got to get skilled in, and which a lot of people are getting into. And that's, so you lose some jobs, more jobs are created in another sector. So ethical dilemmas and societal challenges will remain, because we exactly don't understand the various applications where it's been used. Because what we get to see is just the tip of the iceberg. Because most of the technology it comes or gets commercialized and reaches us, it's already 15, 20 years back. Okay, so for example, if you're looking at technology or AI and everything, it's been used for 20 years already. And it's been used predominantly by many players. So we know almost like 90% of the transaction on the net is on the dark web, which is not exposed. So there's no transparency. So if we call that as ethical, that 90% we call it as unethical or ethical, we don't know. So that's why we are not sure. The government is not sure. No government is sure what to call it. And so there is no regulations on anything of these. So we're just keeping our fingers crossed and seeing how it goes. So economical implications, the job displacement and income equality will remain to that extent because people will get skilled in various ways and how to use. So how you're going to use the tools is what is going to stand out, and increased cost and barriers to entry, limited understanding and the interpretation or interpretability of the concerned people. So coming to research hardcore, what we understand is uh, we we start with our research on based on a topic. So we select a topic, then we look at the keywords, write a small abstract to what do you want to do in that, and then you can, like for example, I just give an example there. Okay, so then we go there using the keywords and using the Boolean logic combination, journal articles are identified. So it is still a requirement for all of us to understand and what is existing. So that's why it's really important that a literature review is done. So you select a topic, get the keywords, so which is tentative. You can change it or uh, tweak it slightly later, as I call it. So there's not a single flow. So you start with a topic, the keywords, then you look at the sketchy information you have, then you look at which are the real articles, what is the area, and what are the guys saying about it, and get lot of data on that. Then only you can start with formulating your mind on what exactly the topic is going to be and which part of it you want to focus on. So then you go back and tweak the title and you look at the abstract and the keywords. Now this at this stage, you can use AI tools because AI is able to tell you what are the trends. So only thing when you go to AI, you need to tell that you are approaching it as a research scholar. So you define the role, then you ask it to suggest on this particular topic, what are the current trending topics. So you get a fair idea. So then you look at what you have in mind and whether it matches, which is exactly the topic you would like to be in. So you narrow down on that. Based on that, it can also give you the keywords. It can it can give you search, Boolean logic, how to search. All this can be got, and this fair enough. It's very much ethical to use AI tools on these contexts. Okay. So probably uh, because there are a lot of what you call literature review softwares. You have Mendeley's, then you have there is this thing extension of the Google itself, X Citation, Google Scholar. You take an extension, so it shows you which are the, you give the keyword, it shows you which are the articles, relevant articles, date wise. It can also summarize what is written. It can also, like Elicit can do it for you. So these kind of tool helps you can do. You can to get a fair idea of what it is. So what is not accepted is to cut paste that onto your thesis. Okay. So you need to understand that if you're going to use a cut paste thing, that means you're using AI. So AI is the author and not you. So you're looking at independent research work. You can use AI tools to the extent that you're looking at generating the topic, the keywords, and what's existing, what are the literature review saying, what are the different topics which are there, what are the gaps which are existing, so that you can formulate your conceptual model and a framework, which are the frameworks you can work on, what is existing, so that you find a research gap for yourself, because that's the most important part. You need to first identify what are the gaps so that then you can refocus and tweak your title to look at the gaps more. So so that there is a originality of or contribution of your research rather than duplicating the research what is existing. Okay, as I said, there's nothing right or wrong in research, but it definitely matters for you if you're going a quality work. So people will expect that you come out with something original. So that's what it's used for. So combination of it can give you AI can give you combination of journal articles which are there in that. So which you can do on Google Scholar using a filter, or you can use even the if you're using sophisticated softwares, paid ones. Okay, so it Elicit can do it for you. Then you have excitation. Then you got many more, which we'll be discussing to some extent here. So this can help you. So only thing, and it can even summarize. It can give you a summary. Everything can be done. So, but then you need to understand what is there for you to take out from here. So what help you are taken is very much in front of you. So how you are going to use it or put it to your thesis. Obviously, we're not expecting you to cut paste, which is not ethical and it's not allowed as per the Westworth standards. Because any case, you're going to use cut paste. It's when you go for the content, it will show clearly that you have picked it from the depository. Because whatever you're generating, it will be saved in the depository. So it will be taken as a AI content. Okay. So the best way is look at what it's throwing out, look what is good for you to pick and use it. Okay, and use it the way you want to use it for your thesis. So to generate the research gaps, then look at what are the variables you would look at or you want to, so that you can go back and tweak your topic based on that. And then you go look at the theoretical frameworks you would like to use, and then you draw your conceptual framework on that. So once you do this like 70% of your botheration done. So then it's the question of writing. So in the once you have the conceptual model, you have your framework. So you're good for deciding whether you want to do mixed methodology or you want to do what you call as a quantitative or a qualitative. So once you decide that, so you from the conceptual framework, you can drop the questionnaire if it's a survey. So the same conceptual framework can be used as a thematic analysis because each of the conceptual framework variables are specified, so that you can use that as a theme. So I have heard a lot of people who say you can't use conceptual model and framework for qualitative uh, research, which I am totally against. And my argument is if you have the conceptual framework, you have the theme already. So you have interviews, the questions you're going to ask is already very well set. So you're not going to go all over the place. So your job becomes much more easier in the thematic analysis, and the coding becomes less traumatic. Okay, so any software, even Excel is capable of handling it. So you can easily work out the gaps. Then you look at the frequency variables, frequency, how much these gaps are appealing or coming up. And based on that, you select 6 to 7 variables and the sub variables for that. And then you write the conceptual model and the theoretical framework. And that solves almost 70% of your job done. So rest is the writing, which is much more easier now because you already firmed up your conceptual model. So that's the heart of your, if I call it as the heart of your thesis or your dissertation. So if we take a look at example of, let's say I was working on a energy sector. So you're looking at I'm using the multi-level model or the framework. So there I understand that energy sector, the success of the implementation of the sector sustainability index, for example, is dependent on the individual level awareness, then the what the organization is able to contribute to the success, what are the national level, what are the regulations which will help you, what are the global inclinations, and definitely technology is part of it. So looking at all this, and it comes very much from your understanding and also looking at the gaps. So you'll see many of the articles you have shortlisted and gone through. They will say that this is not got research, so you can take a good look at these kind of variables and you make a note of that and a combination of what exists and what is not. And based on the theoretical framework, you form a conceptual model for yourself like this. So this at this stage, up till now, you have used quite a bit of AI, but only thing you're not cut pasting. Okay. So and then the questionnaire or the interviews questions are firmed up based on this. Each of the variable is a question. So then the going is very easy. Then you can start writing the introduction, the other things which is required based on your understanding of the articles, what is existing and what you want to, and especially on these variables which you're looking at. And based on this, you can firm up your hypothesis, so how each box is related to the outcome. So that's what you are looking at. And basically at this stage, you are saying that there exists a relationship between these. And this is exploratory kind of thing. Now you want to test it, and the testing is you require data, primary data to be generated. That is through the questionnaire, consensus from the stakeholders, because here you look at a huge sample. So if you're looking at the interviews, 15 interviews to 20 interviews is good enough for a thematic analysis, because after that it will be repetitive. So, and also you can have the sample size calculator giving you the calculation, so you know how it is going. So all this you can still use AI in different format. Okay, so when you're using a calculator, a sample calculator, it's also based on AI. It is backed by the statistical formulas and it's throwing up. So the awareness of how to use it for a particular task is what is important, and how much you can use it, which is required to be understood. And what is ethical in the sense of the current requirements is what you need to understand. Okay, for example, if you're looking at the energy sector, what exists out here. So this has been created by a AI tool. Okay, so I'll just go back to show. So there's no objection in using or creating an image like this. So if you're using a chat box, which is an advanced chat box, for example, so it's a paid version for it. Okay, so what all I could do is, if I'm going to use a, let's say, so I can create an image. Okay, so I say create image for energy sector needs. Okay, so it can do that. So these are the facilities, and it can also show you how to utilize it. So a lot of improvisation is there. So I'm talking about how to use the AI, and it's quite ethical. See, you can throw a format. So if you are going to write a report, you get this. And also, as I said, you can use uh, uh, GPT in a different format also. See here, you can use consensus, which can throw up literature. Okay, so you can use code copilot, which is the extension of the chat GPT. Then Canva is another thing. Okay, which can give you the presentations. Scholar GPT is another consensus. These are all which can give you a lot of insights on the way to go forward. So another thing is the lit map. So it's a literature map. This again a chat box. So some of it is, see, your literature review assistant. So it virtually, when you type your keyword, like I say, energy sector, utilization, for example, this is a keyword I used. So it will pick up, it will show which are the papers which are existing in that. And it can also visualize it. Okay, it can show the visualization here. So likewise, so I'm not going into those details. It's, you have many AI tools And this is not objectable because you're only getting to know which are the papers and which, again, Google Scholar or any of the other things. These are only advanced stages of that. It is the basis from the Google Scholar or the database. So how you use database and what can be good. So you can use data analysis. Okay. So you can also to some extent say write for me, but please don't cut paste from here. As I said, it will show very clearly that you are reproduced or AI is the author. Okay, so you be very careful of how you are using it. So you have ScienceScope, which is also doing a lot of research work for you. So likewise, even Google Scholar, if you're using Google Scholar to, that is also itself AI tool now. You can have extensions for that. That they themselves are using AI score. See, AI outlines in PDF reader, skim per this thing. So go into that, check what it says. So you'll be able to use. So it gives you a summary. These are the kind of summaries it can give you. So it makes your job easy. So it's not like I remember the time when we had the thesis to be done. I used to go and slog in the library for maybe just one getting a keyword and one book and then 10 books on that topic. It used to take ages. So these times is really good for the researchers and good for you guys. So you have these kind of tools which you can throw up and use. Okay. So we talked of how we can create and how to use it in different formats. Okay. So here, these are some of the tools you can say, because I think we will be sharing the presentation. So you'll have all this there. So even you have citing, which is a good this thing. Then Research Rabbit is also, some of these will initially show you what it is, the trial version, and then they're not very costly. So you can use any of these. Only thing, please don't copy the output directly to your thesis or dissertation because it will come from the depository and it will clearly show as AI content. Okay, so you can get it to do many things for you, but how you use it and put it on your thesis or dissertation is something you need to learn. Okay, so these are some of the other tools which are available: Elucid, Connected Papers, Research Rabbit. So individually you can go and test for yourself. There are, all of them have different features and all of them are quite useful. Okay, because I'm saying from my personal experience, I use quite a bit all of these to get what I test. The only thing, the writing goes, it is with the human intervention. So whatever I want to write, I write. Okay. So this is the way you flow these pictures. Some of these pictures have been created by AI. Okay. So you can use a vast and a diverse literature based on this, which I showed you. You can use any of these. So you can use it for semantic search, can use it for topic modeling, citation analysis. So even some of these, like Cite, can give you the research gaps. So it can throw up the gaps which are available, which otherwise it will take you some time. It can also give you the sentiment analysis to some extent. Okay. And these are the benefits which you have: improved efficiency. Obviously, you save time, enhanced accuracy. There's not going to be much error. So only thing in the literature review, please cross check if it's showing a citation, cross check the citation before you put it on your thesis, because as I said, a lot of times it is using current data which is available, but these data has been keeping, they have been withdrawn quite a few bits. They go out of journal or they go out of line, which is not reported back. So it's using with a staggered gap. Okay. So for once you cite it, it's part of your research. And then if your evaluator or someone is going to check it, and if it's not there, you're going to get caught. Okay. So cross check anything. And it's always ChatGPT or any other software says that they're not responsible for the output. So it's very clear that there can be errors. The errors are because of not the machine, it's the errors which exist as a default, as I said. So the fault comes from what is existing. So what was the data which is got put there itself is faulty. So obviously output is faulty. So that's why it makes it quite relevant for you to look at what you are using. So your intervention in that is very much required. So I again say use it smartly, but your intervention and your understanding will ensure that what you're going to put in the thesis and the dissertation. Okay, so enhanced accuracy can happen, and then you use manual. It is better than the manual search, obviously, because it's giving you all the inputs in one stroke. Like if you're using Elicit, for example, it can throw, it will show you 10 papers, then I said low mode, it can go up to 50, 60 papers. So your struggle of saying that papers are not existing or not happening, these kind of things will not happen because it will show you which are the relevant papers. It will also give you a map, which is the most relevant and what is you can use. So at least that part of your journey is quite safe. Okay, so that you can use it, and also cross check everything before you put it on your dissertation, and also write in your own words. Very much required. Identification of emerging trends. AI can help researchers identify emerging trends and gaps in the energy research literature, guiding future research directions. So another thing where it effectively does is if you're looking at, let's say, the current reports, right? A lot of times what I do is I would like to know which are the things which are uh, relevant. Okay. For example, let's say I want to check uh, energy reports. Okay. So what I do is I say it depends on your prop. I say latest reports on energy sector by Big Five. So Big Five, McKinsey, Deloitte. So these guys are not writing peer review, but they give you the latest statistics, and they also do surveys, which obviously can be biased because they do on basis of the sponsors who can be clients. So it can be not, but you know what is the existing parameters they're using and how they're using it. So to that extent, you can look at the reports, the statistics which exist. Okay. And also the individual websites of these companies can give you. So it also throws up recent developments in the, it can show you videos, the times, what is existing, all this. So which is quite relevant for you to have a search and look at it. Okay. So coming back to where we were. So identifying of the emerging trends, interdisciplinary collaboration. So AI can facilitate the collaborations by identifying connections between the research from different fields. For example, even if let's say I do on something on an energy sector, okay. So I would like to know who are the relevant people I could like to interview. So which are the titles I'm looking at? So AI can give you that these are the guys who are important, who can be experts in this. So to that extent, it gives you, and then you look at your contacts and your network and check who are the relevant people who are working in this field, and you can get in touch with them for the interviews for the qualitative. And quantitative, definitely looking at these sectors, you also know that, okay, these are the people who are the stakeholders, I can look at work with them. So it can throw you help in that also. And who are the relevant people who will be able to help you in this. It can give you the names, because if they are registered on LinkedIn, it can even give you the names of people who can help you with this. So it's that very focused. Okay, so that is again something fantastic you can use amazingly. Okay, so data privacy. Otherwise, getting the data itself is very gruesome. You don't know who are the guys who talk and why should they talk to you. But it says it can give you an idea that these are the people who are available, who are experts in this. Probably you can check with them. So it throws you, let's say, 100 people. So you check on how you build up the network to these guys. So you develop over the time period, 15 or 20 of them, and you check. So data privacy is important. As I said, the bias happens because it's a machine. It keeps doing the same thing. So it follows the same pattern. So it cannot be very creative in that sense. Okay, it can add dimensions, provide the dimensions are showing some of the researchers, which it can identify and bring it here. So So human intelligence is definitely better here in these kind of stuff. Okay, repetitive tasks you can and faster, uh, more accurate. These kind of stuff is what it's capable of producing. Okay, so as I said, how to look at the literature gaps, we can do that. So when you say ethical and legal consideration in AI, so there are really no laws because we really don't know how what is ethics for one and what is ethical today is not ethical tomorrow. So this is as reported on 2022. Okay, so there are no recent developments, no recent regulations which have come in. So even the government is waiting, contemplating on how to go about it. So robot rights, good security, then you have cognitive services, accountability, transparency, inclusion, planning, bias. These are all ethical issues and can lead to legal, uh, what do you call, challenges. Okay. So these are some of the things you need to consider on ASAP basis before you go into the research. Okay, so you should be very much aware that what it means and how it is going to help you. As I said, if you're going to do a clinical research and it's life and death, obviously the governance, the confidentiality is very much more enhanced. Liability, accuracy is totally depending on it's a life or death matter. Whereas for business and other these kind of things, it still matters, but not to the accuracy of the what's required in a clinical what do you call data. Okay, so these are the relevance of the things you need to keep in mind when you go through that. So the only thing relevant and the UNESCO has come up with the AI ethical considerations. Okay, what do you need to consider? So there's no law as such. So ethical impact assessment, you like to know who are the guys who are going to get affected and in what ways, what are you going to do. Ethical governance and stewardship, how you'd like to maneuver it. So data policy depends on what data you're going to use and how you're going to guard them and ensure that it's not leaked. Development and international cooperation, collaborations, environment and ecosystems which are used. Gender bias, like you have any bias or you're going to report on some research which is going to throw up some equality issues. So you be careful about that. So age is another factor you need to keep in mind. Okay, so you're going to interview or you're going to do a research on that areas which is involving children. So you need to be very careful in those. Okay, so the cultural norms. So what kind of questions will be acceptable in your culture is what you need to understand. And of course, the research and education is part of it. Communication and information, how you write the report, how you make presentations, how you get across to your survey respondents, and how you collect the data. All this is communication. So we have to be very careful and also ensure that you keep the university or the researcher or research sponsor in the loop. Then economy and labor, and then the health and social well-being. So you don't jeopardize the lives of the respondents or the people who are going to do the survey. Okay, so both ways. So you have to be very logical in keeping all this in mind. So best practices for ethical AI research, human-centered design. Okay, so it's a combination of AI tools, but you have the human in mind. So diversity and inclusion is the factors. Ensure that AI development teams are diverse and inclusive to avoid biases in the data and algorithms. Transparency and explanatory, then continuous monitoring and evaluation because it's a process which keeps coming up and it's a subjective kind of thing. So you need to evaluate and keep monitoring it. Then you need to be collaborating with the stakeholders always. Adherence to the ethical frameworks. As I said, it keeps changing. So you need to be very careful. Education and awareness, long-term perspectives to be considered. There is the social impacts. steps for a systematic review in energy sector for the example I've taken. So define the research question, develop a research strategy or a search strategy. For example, I told you how to do it. So another way is how I used to do a research is a systematic review is one way. I just like to share that. So let's say I'm doing something on a blockchain. This was a study on blockchain I done. So I first look at what is the existing literature which is available. So I make a table. I do the citations here and what are the major findings. And this can be done with the AI tool, as I said, because it can summarize what are the major findings when you're using a software like HSL. Okay. So it also can pick up the variables which are available in the article, then what are the method which is being used. So, and then the limitation and scope of the future research. And it can also develop the gap which comes out of your study there. So likewise, you collect some 30, 40 articles, keep developing, looking at the gaps. Then we look at what is the gap analysis. So what are the gaps which are getting repeated? So for example, I've collected 50 articles. So gap frequency, I call that. So how many times it's got repeated? Okay. So for example, system development was mentioned once. Okay. And so on. This you write down. Then you look at the highest ones you have. So system development appear 37 times, organization readiness 13 times, technology diffusion 12 times, scalability 11 times. Okay. And you look at which is the one. So then you decide on which are the ones you are going to focus on. Okay. So organization readiness, these are the 5 ones, the maximum mentioned ones I'm going to use. Okay. And then for each one of these, again, I do the same thing. So again, I find out so that I can identify the sub variables of each. Okay. And so on. So it's a iterating process. So while I'm doing this, I come to the conceptual model. Okay. Building up all these gaps. And why I say this is very advantageous because it's a process which is very systematic and it can be repeated. So anyone who is going to do this will come out with the same outcome. Okay. So that is why the conceptual model and what you build up, like what I showed you earlier, is built like that. So anyone who is going to, you have a firm basis of producing this, and whoever else is wanting to do it will come out with the same result. Okay. So that's what is the relevance of it. So just go back to where I left you. So this was discussed. Okay. UNESCO is done. Best practices. So this is how you do a systematic review. So this is what I've described it here. Okay. So and then you go for the data extraction, which I told you it can be easily done by using an AI tool. Okay. Only thing, the summary also it gives, but the way you write and put it on for your Excel sheet, it's fine because that's not going to be published. So you get everything up to the Excel sheet, which I showed you, the massive sheet. It can be easily AI tool. Because when I did it, this was about 5-6 years back. So I was literally struggling. It took me almost like 5 to 6 months. So these days, you probably do it in 15-20 days if you're smart enough and you understand how to do it. So that's the efficiency and the quality will be maintained. The data synthesis is much better. Okay, because from here, you're getting to the conceptual model. And the conceptual model and hypothesis becomes very easy. So once you have that, that's your heart. So that's like 70% of your work done. So interpretation, discussion, conclusion. Okay. So before I come to the summary of the points, I'll request the questions. So later on, I can summarize. So was it meaningful, Dr. Abhijit?
It meaningful is a very less word and a mild word. It is very, very insightful and impactful. And that's what I can say that because it's such a huge one. and I can clearly see that if someone is using this particular resources, what you are sharing today, along with your thoughts and the learning points, they can enhance their research output quite easily, and research outcome will be much better because the kind of thing, because two things, what normally the people find difficult to get the trend analysis and to do the interdisciplinary research in terms of bringing the connectivity. Okay, so those are the things is being taken care of if we can use this, AI tool in an ethical manner. Because I would always say ethical, because transparency and accountability are the two key words which need to be kept in mind when using this particular, tool, technology. So technology is there to help us, but we need to use technology ethically. We cannot use the technology rampantly and violating the code of conduct. And let me remind the viewers over here that the Westwood also, we got the AI policy for the research and the tutorial guidelines. So you guys can also go through that. But certainly, there are a lot of things which has been explored today in terms of how you can use AI to augment, to enhance your research output is hugely
And
there.
in a
So
in an ethical manner, because
in an
it's
ethical
not going to
manner.
be reported in any case.
No,
It
no.
only makes it faster because as I said, it
Yeah.
took me 6 months to develop that Excel
Yeah,
sheet.
I know that. I
So
know
for
that. In
you,
fact,
it will just do it in 15, 20 days. That's it, flat.
yeah, to be honest with you, Dr. Shankar, there are so many learning for me even to understand that how I can use it to write my next research articles and how it can really reduce the efforts by using the technology in a very productive manner
Correct.
and
And
ethical manner.
it is you can be reproduced because
Yeah,
replicancy is there. It's very transparent. So
yeah,
anyone who is
yeah.
following the method will come to the same result.
Same result. So it is hugely impactful. I personally think I take a cross-section view. I think already I got five things that has come. Karim has come with a very informative Dr. Shankar. Ravi Perera has come with a question. Dr. Shankar, can I tell that question? Is there any possibility in AI where the data we input for one research analysis gets exposed to another user of the platform, example like GPT?
Yes, that's why you have to be careful. That's why I
Okay.
generally don't use it. I don't use the analysis as thrown by, I don't use ChatGPT or any of these.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, we'll use SPSS or we use Adanco, which is on your desktop and it's not public. So
Mm-hmm.
you're only using the software to make the analysis, and that data is very much on your thing. So it's not,
Right.
otherwise you'll lose. I mean, if it's exposed, if you put it on ChatGPT, someone else can read it and you'll use the same analysis. And before you have published it, your paper is already published.
Mhm. That's great.
I've seen it
So
happen.
Ravi, yeah. So Ravi, you got the answer. So that is possible. And then Cam's India's come. Thank you, doctor. It's an amazing meeting. It's very useful. Thank you, Cam. And another student has come, Dr. Shankar. Thank you so much. Please share your contact. So we are going to, for all benefits, we are going to share these presentations, and it's still not finished. Dr. Shankar
Yeah,
he
I
will
need to summarize it. I'm just taking the
yeah,
questions with me.
summarize, and when it is over, and you can come back with your questions. We need more questions so that you can make it more interactive. And Dr. Shankar is here to clear any kind of doubts if you are having in your mind. But trust me, this is one of the huge tool. You know very well, AI is something which is touching our life on a daily basis. But then how you can use AI to, enhance your research output is something to be seen, and that need to be ethically done. So that's what is our focus, and that's what Dr. Shankar is unraveling before us, and that's wonderful. And Ravi has come back. Thank you, Dr. Shankar. I think the session is comprehensive and concise. We learned how we can make AI a handy companion. Very true, Ravi. Uh, and then another Fatima, I think. This is very interesting. Thank you, doctor. So till now, these are the things. And I got my here, the colleagues here, Dr. Diwal is here, Dr. Pradesh is here, Dr. Neeta is here, Dr. Asaf is here. Okay, so all of them are there. Dr. Rajesh was here. So anyone would like to, Dr. Neeta, would you like to add anything on what Dr. Shankar has shared? That how do you feel? Okay.
It's been a very insightful session, Dr. Abhijit. There's nothing much for me to add from my side. Many of the things were new to me and informative, I must say.
Yeah, that same here. Actually, I'm finding it so useful to use for my
I hope
next
you guys
article.
start publishing more.
That's there, Dr. Shankar, and without you, not possible, because you will be our AI guru then at that time. Okay, to take
Yeah, I am
care of
always
this.
there. I am ready to
Yeah,
collaborate with anyone. The
so
students or
learning,
teachers or anyone.
yeah, learning is a continuous process, and
Yeah.
I remember, Dr. Pradesh and me, we were doing quite a lot of things on this, and Dr. Pradesh, we can use AI also, and Dr. Shankar being guru, so we can always go back to him, so to help. And anyone else, Dr. Diwal, Professor Asaf, anyone you would like to contribute here?
Thank you very much, Dr. Abhijit. Thanks for this great presentation for Dr. Shankar. And I think this is great learning for our students. I've got one is also attending here, Pamal Wala. He's doing some research around artificial intelligence in the energy sector, special reference to how it affects petrol stations and all that. Because in other countries already they're using automatic petrol buying, and it may affect a lot of unemployment in Africa. Because here in South Africa, we've got a lot of people are working, putting petrol for all that. And I know very soon we're going to have artificial machines where we just put money and put petrol. And what's going to happen of all those ordinary jobs? Just one of the limitations of this important artificial intelligence. But one question which I wanted to ask Dr. Shankar, when he was defining artificial intelligence, he referred to super intelligence as something that surpasses human intelligence. How can you explain that to me? I don't understand it clearly. How does artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence?
See, if the basic problem in research is issue is the data input. Okay, whereas if I'm looking at, let's say I'm looking at oil pricing, for example, so that's a live data and the inputs can be directly borrowed from the markets. Okay, so it can take decisions based on this without any human interference. And it will be in a better position because if I interpret all the factors which go into that, including the political factors, it can very easily sit and take an algorithm and it's learn every day. So it gets better and better in option and it will give you the exact picture. So that's super intelligent, which is not possible by human.
Can I help you again with this?
Yeah, Dr. Pradesh, go ahead. Please
So
go ahead.
when you talk about artificial intelligence, the key role which is happening now is based on only facts. Based on all the data that has been held into a master server with a database system and a full biometric, or what do you call fully integrated system is where you get it from. But people are started looking into another point, which is AC, which is like after AI, what is going to happen? And that's what we are focusing on. A few people are focusing now, which is called AC, which is artificial consciousness. And when you integrate that is where we are going to bring something called ethics into question. And that is what we are working at a huge team, especially Turnitin, which is a plagiarism checking software. There's a huge team working on it right now, looking into content which is being plagiarized, being uploaded or submitted for plagiarism, which is AI generated being checked for plagiarism, where we are sorting it. And now even that there are multiple levels which are going into that. That's what we are talking about artificial consciousness, because the way how content can be generated using a human direct perspective or how it changes. So there are things happening and it has not, let's say we have not reached the peak yet. It's just the beginning stage where we are, and people have in bringing up new tools at the initial phase right now. But on a long run, going to have the more you have complex tools here, there are people behind the scene who are working with complex solutions for that. And that's what we are looking at. Next,
Of course,
next
of
level, what
course.
you say is artificial consciousness, sir. Yes, sir.
Fantastic. That's another insight. Okay, thank you so much. And we are happy that plagiarism, that Turnitin is coming up with this, so it will reduce our effort in terms of catching the people who is crossing the ethical limits of using AI. And Dr. Diwal, very quick, contribution from your side. Dr. Diwal, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, a very short one. I'm up the corridor from Dr. Shankar, so I'll definitely be bothering him a lot.
Welcome, Dev. Anyone is welcome.
Dr. Shankar now got very handful. And if you look at now the student comments, I got very interesting one. And everyone is thanking you, Dr. Shankar. It's a very informative. Samuel has come back. I enjoyed the session, Dr. Shankar. So are we. And Dr. Diwali is saying, I worked on the corridor from Dr. Shankar. That's right. And then Brian is coming back with a very interesting suggestion. He's saying, thank you for the very interesting presentation. I would like to suggest if there could be another seminar that actually takes a topic from the beginning, finds articles and literature maps, starts an Excel sheet to record the articles and goes through the research process using these AI tools. That means he wants entire schooling to be done there with
he wants me to do his work.
Yeah, his work. And Brian, you need to work a little hard because Dr. Shankar has come back with so many things. I think your research is it will be so cakewalk for you now, and that can be done. Costas has come back. Thank you, and was quite interesting and informative. Thank you, Costas. And Kareem, artificial intelligence has an edge over humans, especially in big data analysis. Dr. Shankar, do you have any comments on this? Kareem is coming back.
Sure. That's what I was saying, that when you're looking at live data and you update your data, we can, as human being, there's a limitation to how much we can conjure and look at it. Whereas a machine, it's a repeated process, is because it's following algorithm and it's updating the algorithm, so it can keep doing it at a faster rate and much better way. It's more accurate.
Fantastic. So Kareem, you got the reply. And now I got the pleasure of welcoming Dr. Kumba here. He's all the way from, he's our colleague who has recently joined as adjunct research supervisor in Westford. And he has joined us. Thank you, Dr. Kumba, for taking your time out. This is how it is. And you can always, would you like to say anything on this artificial intelligence to the?
Well, I think for me, the use of artificial intelligence is quite, very impactful for, especially for mitigating the writer's block. Sometimes we want to write an article or some things, and you get some sort of like difficulties in terms of ideas and so on. I normally use the AI, yes.
Okay.
But my limitation is the AI is for our assistants, not for, you cannot write entirely your paper with the AI 100%. Even with the use of ChatGPT, because ChatGPT have some sort of like problem with regards to sources, citations, and so on. So for me, the base, I'm not, promoting one particular AI tools, but I'm normally using Janie AI, if you remember. It's for me, it's powerful tools to, to connect the papers and see the gap. And also, if you have some sort of like difficulties, using the AI, I think you can search abundance of literature. For example, like a Google Scholar, just type a specific keywords, like specific keywords. What do you want in the Google Scholars? Also, the publish or perish is quite useful for to get insight for the keyword itself. So for me, yes, as a writers, for example, I recently published at the Q1 journals, and I normally use that to some sort of like assist to get some ideas, but
Okay.
I'm not totally use 100% for that.
Thank you, Professor Kumba, for your insightful comments and definitely the software that you suggested. But there's a quick question I would like to give it to Professor Sankar. Travolta is coming back, one of our students. He's asking, my problem is, when do we consider AI to be the limits of our interactions? And what standards are there to uphold good academic research proposal when using AI? So, Dr. Shankar, anything you would like
So
to
there's
say
no
on this?
set regulations, but at Westward, we are looking at tools which can be used as a support. So you're not going to take and borrow what is written there directly to your dissertation or to your paper. So it's only for inference, for your understanding, and to the level of backups or making notes, or the way I showed you how to use it on Excel. So up till that, and then till the time you get your firm conceptual model and the hypothesis done. So that once that is done, then it's fairly easy. Fairly easy. You don't
Yeah.
require any more AI in that, because you already looked at the papers, you already looked at what is the citations, what is important. So once you firmed up that, then
Yeah.
you developed your gaps and then looked at the conceptual model. And that's, like I said, 70% of your work done. It's only the writing. So writing, in any case, you can do it very patiently, you'll have time. So it's better than,
Fantastic.
because I still feel human beings write much better, except for the grammatical and other things, we can use the tools. So other than that,
Yeah, I
the
think
essence, what you
creativity,
want
yeah,
to, the VS
yeah,
are more superior in that.
yeah. In fact, Professor,
So
I'm
because
finding,
that is what is the conscious, or what do we call that? Because we have a lot of conscious, and our intelligence which we can use, which the AI is not capable of handling. And sentiments, no, a lot of things you can write which the machine cannot recognize. Basically, it depends on the topic, of course, but
yeah,
your human touch is definitely
essential,
matters. Yeah.
essential. Yeah, because that's what Professor Kumba is also saying, that AI cannot write your research. That's the thing. Thank you so much, Dr. Shankar.
Adding on to
And yeah,
that, I would like to bring out a point that at times using Grammarly now are being considered as a detection, where people use Grammarly as a tool for correcting sentences. They just copy and paste it from Grammarly. But just use it for sentence framing. Please don't copy and paste it from Grammarly, because that has also now been detected when it has been auto-generated with the help, and it has been
No.
it is coming under the
That's
AA
true.
What you need to do there
protocol.
is you have Grammarly as an extension on your writing. So as you write, it corrects. So you're not going to feed it as a paper. So if you do that, then you're in trouble. It goes to the repository. Whereas when you write, it checks your spelling. That's fine. That will not go into your, and you're not copying anything. You are writing, and it's just checking it's a spell check,
spelling.
and it
It's a spell
reframes
check,
your
yeah.
sentence.
Yeah. So guys, you got enlightenment on that as well. So Professor Asaf, very quick, because Dr. Shankar is speaking for a long time and he has to summarize and conclude that. Okay. So
yes.
Professor Asaf, yeah, please come back very quickly.
Yeah, thank you very much for this quick one. I just wanted to make a comment we understand the benefits of this artificial intelligence, and that it's going to take a lot of the hardware skills, as I've pointed out, examples of automatic petrol machines and all that. But I read an article from Harvard University journal that it's going to increase soft skills, and it says particularly leadership development, because artificial intelligence is not going to replace leadership in whatever way. So we're going to need more people, more leaders, in order to support and also to lead all the people who come up with the artificial intelligence. And that's the beauty part of it. So it's not going to affect the artificial intelligence. Any comment on that, Dr. Shankar?
Sir, I know of a research where it's not tested commercially. What they do is it's called twin situation. Okay, suppose I have a CEO. Okay, and I have all the inputs of his personalities, everything. The same I can generate on my AI. Using the AI, I can generate the same person as a twin. And using this, I can expose him to various situations and what kind of leadership he takes. So I am actually using a twin to experiment. Okay, so that's where AI, and it's been done very systematically. It's been used in defense, it's used in various aspects of it. So that's very advanced AI. And that's what I said. Maybe 30 years down the line, we will not be doing anything. It'll be totally run by machines. Machine will do everything for you. So then you got to think what you got to do for yourself. What you're going to do when you got nothing to do, because everything will be free. So you got to think now itself.
Okay.
What is
Thank
that
you
you
very
want
much.
to
Thank
do
you very much
when
for
you got nothing to
explanation.
do?
Thank you. Really
I think,
appreciate
I
it.
think, yes, I think what Dr. Shankar is saying, there would be a new kind of reality which will be emerging at that point of time, a completely a new dynamics to deal with for the leaders,
Already
you know.
they're using the twin concept is very much
Yeah.
there. They're using the everything, the biometrics, everything is fed on a person. I can regenerate
Yes,
a person,
yes, yes,
and that person is made to go through various situations and how he
yes,
relates and how he behaves, and what is the
yeah,
leadership, what is the conscious level, everything is tested. And
yes,
then I make him better and better and better. And
yes,
that's what they're doing in the defense. You have soldiers who are fighting on the Himalayas at 17,000, 18,000 feet. What do you think they're doing? This the enhancements which are already there.
yeah. That's how it is working. Thank you, Dr. Shankar. You can please go ahead with and summarize, and I know you were speaking for a long time. Yeah,
So I
thank you,
quickly
thank you.
summarize on any
Yeah,
questions which
yeah.
are left. Just you can check the chat.
No, just one has come. Karim is saying, just a, not a question. Chatbots are very helpful tools to scan the literature. That's what his
Okay,
realization
that's a comment here. Okay.
comment. And then another one is Rainier has come back with the comment that context window of Jane AI model are usually small, and it is therefore still important to check sources outside the context window. Uh, yeah.
Try consensus or you try elicit.
Yeah. So
And it's
and
all mentioned. I mentioned more
I
software there.
think
You can
your presentation is so much
presentation has all the
all the
materials,
resources, all the
all the
resources,
resources. You can try and then
plus
whichever
this
suits you, you
video.
can do it.
Yeah, and we are going to share with all students, so you will be up with this resource actually. And Adam is coming back. Thank you. Is AI summarizing this session? Yes, Dr. Shankar is going to do. So please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So summarizing the main points. So introduction to AI in research content, a brief introduction to AI and its growing role in AI, what we in research, what we discuss, like notes, define AI, discuss AI applications in research, emphasize its impact on data analysis, pattern recognition, prediction. These are typically AI content, how it can be used. Why AI in research? Because the benefits of AI, I explained to you, it's much faster and it's more easier and it's not so time consuming and it's very much more accurate than a normal human being because repetitive tasks it can handle very fast. So it can look at large data sets, which I think Karim mentioned there, automate the repetitive task and generate faster research outcomes. So AI in data processing content, applications of AI in data collection, processing and management. So it explains how AI streamlines data management and enhances data quality and accuracy. So if I'm collecting data and I would like to know what are the analysis which are possible, not using the analysis it is making, okay? So what are the trends and how it can look at that I can learn and then try to apply on different on your desktop softwares, okay? So AI in literature review content, AI powered tools for systematic literature review, which I discussed in detail. So highlight the tools that use AI for keyword extraction, sentiment analysis, content categorization, etc. So which is all possible in any of the tools we have. Just mentioned all the tools. You just open up and see how it goes. Which are the ones, because all of them are trial. So you can use it for some time, maybe 10, 15 entries, and after that you have to pay. And it's not very costly. Like the chat box, chat GPT, the advanced version itself is about $20. That's it for a month. So I mean, and it gives so much features. All the features are there already in the exploring part of it. So AI in hypothesis generation, which I told you, can be done in finding the gaps and finding and going for the what do you call the conceptual model, and subsequently the hypothesis. So it can look at the experimental design content if you want. Okay, so it depends on what kind of experiment or what type of research you're doing. So data analysis I discussed, AI in writing and editing content can be done, because but don't use it as uploading and downloading and all. You'll get stuck. Use it as a tool as you're writing on your Word. So you can use Grammarly or Quillbox as extension and will help you. Okay. So collaborating of content you can have on the Google Drive. So the 3 or 4 scholars writing that. So you can collaborate in a meaningful manner using the AI tools. Ethical, and it's an add-on on the Google Drive as well as on the Google tool. So I showed you how Google Scholar itself got many extensions. So ethical AI use in research content is possible. Okay. So only thing you need to be careful is on the ethical format, what is required to be done and to what limit. So how we are transparent, what is the fairness, is there any bias? All this I already explained to you. So just summarizing it in a quick manner. Then it needs to be transparent and explain the content. So basically, AI doesn't share the backoffs, but if you're going to do that on your own in Excel and everything, so you can easily explain saying that this is the work and this is how you develop the content and what you have done. So privacy and data is a concern, obviously, which I already told you. So if you're going to upload on any of these softwares and it's a what do you call, not on a desktop, it's going to public depository, anyone can use it. And the a lot of authors use that. I have seen a lot of Chinese who publish my articles before I could even do anything. They lost many of my articles, and I know of guys who have lost their publications also. So informed content is very important. Then autonomy and human oversight is required always. So ethical consideration keeps changing. So you have to be updated on these factors. And there is a limitation of AI in research content, which I explained to you. So data dependency content, the AI's dependency on data input is good, the output will be good. If your input is bad, output is bad. Especially in research, it's a problem because the data which has been fed earlier as not good quality, it's getting a lot of papers are getting retracted, and that's not reflecting on the AI tools. So that's a thing we need to keep in mind when you check your, and that's the exactly the black box concept or the ethical boundaries which you need to look at. So regulatory compliance is basically it's developing. No one is sure what are the boundaries, so it's not formed up yet. Okay, so in sensitive research content, as I said, genetics, healthcare is very, very important that AI is used in the manner it should be. Otherwise, you're going to land up in trouble. Okay, and I think we covered most of it. In processing, literature review, best practices, future trends, also I have explained. So this is the AI in research statistics. The Chinese have done a lot of work, but all this is all falling through because a lot of retractions from those areas. So what type of AI tools do you use in your work? So these are some of the things you can use and how you can use them. Content creation and keyword research, social media, email marketing, everything has been mentioned. And thank you very much for patiently going through the and asking the questions.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. In fact, more than emoji, I would like to thank you personally, Dr. Shankar. It was such a wonderful session. I would rather say so insightful, so impactful, and so, learning content is so much that we are going to, share with all the students, including including our faculties, the adjunct research supervisors, how they can also see that how in whatever the way it can really benefit them. So once again, we profusely thank you for your wonderful time, wonderful presentation, and the painstaking efforts, the kind of efforts you have given, such an enormous efforts in terms of researching and bringing the thoughts together is something which is exemplary. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you
We
very much,
really
sir.
appreciate your time.
So we will get the recording
developing.
also, I think.
Yeah, we have the recording and everything, and we will share with all the colleagues in Westport, including the top management.
Yeah,
Thank
because
you,
I
sir.
think it will be important for our colleagues basically because for the publications, this is an eye opener.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we are going to do it because this is going to be one of our ready reckoner kind of thing, is a document kind of a thing where we can follow on when we have some doubt on AI, and then definitely you are there. Now you are officially termed as AI guru, so we will refer to you.
You're putting a big responsibility on me.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is
Okay,
there.
sir. Thank you. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
sir. Have
Bye-bye.
a nice evening and a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Bye-bye,
Thanks,
sir.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, my dear faculties. And thank you, my dear colleagues, everyone. And thank you, my dear students. Thank you so much for all of your time. Appreciate and have a wonderful evening all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us.
Thank you.